In your multiple decades of studying the ag market, is it possible that China would stop buying U.S. ag products?
Absolutely, it is completely possible, and I think it's a reasonable expectation to have. They cut their soybean imports from us down to a mere 6 million tons last year. 6 million tons of soybeans sounds like a lot, and it is if they dump it in your front yard, but it's not that much. They don't need the beans because of the problems they have with their hogs. They've been reaching out to countries like Argentina to find other sources of pork. And remember, China is a command economy. They say you're not importing soybeans. You don't import soybeans if you're an importer, because the consequences can be rather dire. So it is entirely possible that they can import no agricultural products from us.
What does that do in China? Does that, number one, have them just redirect? Can they quickly find new sources of that, or does the price of food go up?
The price of food goes up, but the Chinese government is sitting on plenty of cash, so they could go in here and subsidize this. And remember, it's a command economy. If you were used to getting 3 pork chops a week, maybe you only get 1. And they can substitute chicken for pork fairly easily. You can ramp up chicken production fairly rapidly, and there are going to be places that are going to be willing to step up and fill this void.
So how much of this, though, is also due to falling demand because of the hog issue? There's a swine fever that came and wiped out their hogs. You don't need the soybean for a meal to feed them. How much of that is just convenient demand loss?
Well, there is a lot of demand loss here, and I think, the trade wars pushed us below $8 on soybeans. I think if we didn't have this situation, we might be trading 40 cents higher, but you're still going to have that demand loss. This is just conveniently allowing prices to drop, and we're probably looking at further price pressures here.
That sounds like China has a fair amount of options when it comes to this. What does this do to the American farmer?
The American farmer is going to have to look to Uncle Sam for this. We're going to need to see Sunny money to control this, and we're going to need to change the way we farm in this country. We need to find more organic solutions. We need to cut down on the acreage of these big crops. Unfortunately, when you're on the farm, the way you make more money is to plant more acres and get more bushels. Cover crops don't pay anything. So we're going to be looking at a year where we could see very, very large crops and some serious demand issues.
We heard on Friday that President Trump wants to help the farmers, $15 billion, want to buy up ag, store them, and then give them to countries that are suffering for humanitarian needs. You're laughing, but yeah. If you're a farmer, does that actually help you?
If they buy it from the farmer, that's fine. The problem is you're going out here and you're buying soybeans. These soybeans they're buying are hard little rocks, and they're only good to be processed into animal feed. You can't give them to feed our starving children very much, and the same stories for the corn. The starving countries, they want rice and they want wheat. They don't want our pre-animal feed. Now, something he could do is he could adjust the RFS. He could encourage biodiesel. That would increase some demand domestically, but it's not going to be enough to offset, the 40 million, 50 million tons of beans that we send to China every year.
And then, so last question with this, if China winds up diversifying where they're buying their beans, is that solution permanent?
Yes. We saw this in 1979 with the Russian wheat crisis. We went in after Russia. We were their biggest supplier of wheat. After that, we did not sell any wheat to Russia. Government's first job when you wake up in the morning is to protect food security, and China will diversify this because they don't want to get caught in this situation again.